Very good. God is the owner of everything we possess. God is the owner of everything we possess. Think about this. Everything you have today, your clothes, your career, your children, your watch, your cell phone, everything you have today is owned by who? It's owned by God. He allowed you to have it. He gave it to you. Everything we possess belongs to God. Many times we think we own it. I worked hard for this. I own it. No. God allowed you to have it. You're a steward. You're a manager of what you have today. You're a manager. Let me give you an example. In the 1700s, there was a group called the Crusades. Okay, the Crusaders. They went around. It was a religious war. These were the Romans versus the Turks. It was a religious war. And in this war, the Crusaders ran out of army. They ran out of soldiers. So what did they do? They went to the mercenaries. You know, prisoners. They hired mercenaries to fight the war for them. They asked the mercenaries, will you fight this war for us? If we win, you'll have freedom. And so the mercenaries said, sure, we'll fight for you. No problem. What do we need to do? Well, they said, this is a religious war. So you need to be baptized. Okay, we'll be baptized. What do we do? You see this river here? You go into this river and come out of the river. You all be baptized. So, one by one, they lined up in the river. They lined up in the river. A whole long line, all the mercenaries. And they went into the river one by one. As they went into the river, they got their swords. Okay? It's a good thing I brought my sword with me today. They got their sword. Yeah. They got their sword. And then they went into the river. When they went in, they lifted up their sword out of the water. And they went down in the water. They went through the water. And then they came out of the water carrying their sword above the water. And the Crusaders saying, what's that all about? Well, we don't understand that. Why did you raise your sword above the water? And the mercenaries said, well, we're committing our lives to the Lord. We will do whatever we can. We will die for the Lord. We'll give our lives. But when it comes to our sword, we will do whatever we want with our swords. We are the master of our swords. Why do I share that with you? Because today, we are just like those mercenaries. We say to the Lord, Lord, I give my life to you. I dedicate my life to you. But when it comes to my money, I am the master of my money. I control my money. I do what I want with my money. Ganun tayo. We want to do what we want with our money. It's like this fellow here. This fellow. Well, Charles, when I baptize you, everything that goes under belongs to God. Ang bilis niya. He is so fast, huh? Let's do an exercise. Can you all take out your wallets? Can you all take out your wallets? Ladies, open your purses and get your wallets out. Get your wallets out. And lift your wallets up in the air. Up in the air. Very good. I'm so glad everyone participates. Wonderful. Yes. Where's your wallet? Huh? Lift up your wallets. Up in the air. Up in the air. Very good. Don't worry. I will not ask you for money. Don't worry. Up in the air. Up in the air. I'll lift up my wallet also. Here's my wallet. Oh. You don't believe me, huh? That's my wallet. Oh. Oh. May mga dollar ka. Huh? Okay. Lift up your money in the air. Question. Who owns your money?
God.
Who gave you your money?
God.
Who owns your money?
God.
Who gave you your money?
God.
How come I heard someone say my wife? Who owns your money? God. Okay, when I count to 3, I want you to pass your wallet to the person beside you. Are you ready?
Yes.
Are you ready? Everyone, pass it to the person on your right. Okay, and you get the one on the left. Are you ready? Wait. Are you ready? 1. Lift up, up. 1, 2, 3. Wait. Some of you are ready to give away your money right away. Don't touch your wallet, huh? You want that big one coming to you, right? I know you want. I can see your eyes. Give me that wallet. There's nothing in my wallet. You put your wallet down. God is the owner of our money. Do you believe that? It's easy to say, right? It's easy to say, but do you really believe it? Here's my question. When you buy something, the medyo mahal, medyo expensive, do you consult God? God, do you want me to buy this with your money? Do you ever consult God? Oh, but if you're saying, my money belongs to God, then we should consult the owner before we spend it. Do you consult God before you make a decision on your money? That's evidence of your belief. You see, God is the owner. Who is the man who lost all his possessions and children in one day? What's his name?
Job.
Job, yes. Job lost all his possessions and his children in one day. How many children did he have? How many children did he have? 10 children. How many of you here have 10 children? Oh, thank God. Can you imagine 10 children? All died in one day. 10 fresh graves. And there's Job standing before his children. He lost all his cattle, his camels, his sheep, his goats, everything he lost. His house was burned down. He lost everything. And he's standing before his children. How would you react? How would you respond? This is real life. How would you respond? You know what Job did? Job said in Job 1:20, verse 22. Then Job arose, tore his robe, shaved his head, and fell to the ground and louder,
Worship.
louder,
Worship.
worship. Continue. And he said, naked I came from my mother's womb, and naked I shall return there. The Lord gave, and the Lord has taken away. Blessed be the name of the Lord. Through all this, Job did not sin, nor did he blame God. Ibang klase ito ni Job, no? Ibang klase. He's a different man. How was he able to worship? How was he able to worship? How was he able to say, blessed be the name of the Lord? He lost everything. If you go home tonight and you find that your house burned down and everything that's inside is ruined, how would you react? How would you respond? You know, friends, not only this, but Job was filled with sores. All the way from the head to his toes, filled with sores, boils. Health-wise, he was also suffering. But you know why Job was able to say that? Because Job knew the Lord and the Lord's role as master and owner of all he possessed. He knew the Lord was master and owner of everything he possessed. And this is where you and I should change our mind. Change your mind, change your heart. The truth is, the true north truth is, God owns everything. Everything. If you live your life thinking you own these things, and something bad happens to what you own, your life will be a mess. But if you truly believe, no, these things I don't own. I possess. I possess for a short period of time. Even your children, they're not yours. You possess them for a short period of time, and then you give them back to the Lord at one time in your life. We don't possess these things. It will change your life. It'll give you contentment. Contentment, that's the key. How do we achieve contentment? By knowing God is the owner. When we believe that everything belongs to God, when something good or bad happens to what we believe, what we possess, it will not affect our attitude to make us happy or sad, because we will be content. If something good or bad happens to what you possess, it will not make you happy or sad, because you know, Lord, that's yours. I don't own it. I just hold it for a short period of time. Friends, these are truths that will change your life. God is the what? God is the owner of everything we possess. Let's look at the second one. Isaiah chapter 45, verse 6 and 7. Let's all read this together. I am the Lord, and there is no other. The one forming light and creating darkness, causing well-being and creating calamity. I am the one, the Lord, who does all these. Isipin nyo, this is who God is. God says, I am the Lord. I form light and darkness. Can you create darkness and light? Anyway, I'm not talking about turning on a light switch, huh? But can you create light and darkness? No, we can't do that, but God can. Ano ba? He creates, causes well-being, blessings, and creating calamities, curses. God can bring blessing and can bring calamity. If God cannot bring calamity, that's not God. We have a weak God. But God can do both good and bad. He's the God who does all these things. What's that telling us about God? God is the what?
Lord.
God is the what of our lives?
Lord.
God is the controller of our lives. Can you all say that?
God is
God is the controller of our lives. Friends, this is another truth that is shocking. Many people think they know this, but they don't really live it out. The truth that God is the controller of our lives. Can you all say that? God is the controller of our lives. I'm going to isip natin, we're in control. I control my life, I control what I do, my day, it's all my control. No. Friends, you're not in control. You think you're in control, but God is in control. At any time, He can make you blind. At any time, He can stop your heart. At any time, He can cause you to be paralyzed. He can do whatever He wants. You're not in control. The business you're doing today, the work you have, your children, your family, all that is under God's control. This is the true north. Whether you believe it or not, it doesn't change. God is in control. God is in control. In my business, I had 2 books of accounting. Okay, as I was growing up, I had a business, and it was a retail shop, and we sold clothes. And we had 2 books. 75% of the income went to 1 book, and I kept all the money from that book. 25% went to another book, and that's what we reported to the BIR, and that's where we paid our taxes. 25%. And I said, 2 books, everyone is doing it, no problem. Everyone's doing it, so why can't I do it? I thought I was in control. I thought I'm the master of this business. And I believe that this is right. I can do this, and even if it's dishonest, it's okay. Everyone's doing it the money. Cheating the government of taxes, they're not giving us the taxes in return. So I can do what I want. But you know what? I realized that God is in control. It came to the point in my life where I truly accepted this truth that God is the owner. God owns my business. He doesn't own it, it's His. And He does with His business what He wants. He can do with your job whatever He wants. I need to submit to Him. I need to submit to His authority. So when it comes to controllership, I said, Lord, I'm going to release control. As a Christian, I believe that this is wrong, and I cannot continue doing my life, continue being a Christian like this. I'm going to close both books and have just 1 book with all the income and pay complete taxes. I went to the accountant and I told her, let's do this. And she said, boss, do you realize how much tax you're going to pay? I said, it doesn't matter. Let's pay everything. Okay. So we started paying everything, full tax. After 1 whole year passed, we looked at the bank financial statements, the books, and the company's income doubled. It doubled. Can you imagine? And I said, how did our income double in this past year? And the reason was because we had a lot of people who came from different countries into our retail shops. And a guy from Japan who said, I want everything in this shop to be sent to Japan. I want to have a shop like this in Japan. So we filled up containers and sent it to Japan. A person from Australia, a person from Sweden, a person from the US. People came in and they were ordering export. I was only doing local sales. But all of a sudden, export sales came in. I didn't look for these people. Guess what? God is in control, and He brought these people. And so this is proof that I'm not in control. God is in control. If today you feel that you're in control, that you have to work hard and labor such that you don't have any more holidays. You work during weekends, you work during Sundays, you work during all days of the week. You work overtime. You're saying, I'm in control, not God. God wants you to put priority to your family. Put priority to Him, not priority to your work. Let God be in control. That's what this is saying. Friends, how do we achieve contentment if God is in control? Well, we can be content when we believe that God intends to use every situation and circumstance for a good purpose in our lives. For as long as we are living a godly life. God wants to give you the best. But you need to trust Him and believe that He uses all the situations in your life today for a good purpose. And if you believe that, you will have contentment. God is in control, I'm not. And I allow God to be in control. Don't fight God. Don't fight God. Today, many of you are fighting God for controllership of your life. Don't fight God. Look at this verse. Romans 8:28. Let's read it together. And we know that God causes all things to work together for good to those who love God, to those who are called according to His purpose. You see, God wants to cause all things for good, not for bad, but for good. today, I don't know what your situation is, but if you allow God to take control, what does that mean? It means obedience. You have to obey Him in certain areas that you know are not right in your life. If there's some areas that you're cheating, you're dishonest, you're not giving God what is due, whatever that is, you need to obey Him. You doing this right, He will cause things to turn out for good. That shows that you love God. It shows that you love God.